and I work with Smart Technologies. Happy to be here this morning to share with you Notebook 15, which is our most recently released version of Notebook. First of all, welcome back to school. I know it's a very exciting time. I don't know about you, but I don't know what happened to the summer. It just went just so quickly. I've got my kids in the corner over there. They're watching their iPads. Camp was under-enrolled this morning, so they alerted me last night at 9 o'clock that there weren't enough kids in it to justify the camp today. So if you hear Frozen in the background, I apologize. It may come up periodically. So let me just get a gauge in the room. How many of you have worked with specifically Smartboards previously and Smart Notebook software? Just a couple people, okay. How many of you have worked with our competitor, Promethean boards? Have anybody? Okay, all right. So I'm going to show you the software that comes with Smart Notebook, your Smartboard. It's called Smart Notebook. And I'm also going to just kind of show you some features of the board as well, because it seems like for the most part there's just a few people who have been working with the boards themselves. And I think you're going to find for those Promethean users that the software is very intuitive. It's very easy to pick up and use, and very easy to create activities in the classroom. So the first thing you'll do is you're going to need to download, well, when your school is going to push out that software, you're going to see a little icon on your desktop that says Smart Notebook. And Smart Notebook is the program that's going to allow you to create interactive lessons for your students. So can you use the Smartboard as just a display? Of course you can. You can just connect your computer. You can show PowerPoint. You can show things that are on the internet. It's basically going to display everything that's on your computer. But the power of a Smartboard is not using it as a glorified projector. The power of a Smartboard is really to create activities that engage students to come up and touch and manipulate so that the lesson then becomes interactive. And so those are the kinds of things that I'm going to be showing you. You're going to notice that you're going to be set up with some cables. And so when you plug in your computers to the board, you're going to plug in an HDMI cable that's going to give you really nice resolution on your board. And you're going to plug in a touch cable. So the touch cable is very important. Some people just plug in the HDMI cable and then they start trying to touch the board and nothing happens. So that touch cable is really important. That's what enables the board to be able to recognize your finger or a pen or an eraser or certain gestures. Okay? When you plug in your touch cable for the first time, it's going to install some drivers onto your computer. Basically, those drivers are allowing the computer and the board to be able to talk to each other via the touch technology. And the way that the touch technology works is that there's actually cameras in the corners of the board, which allows the board to be able to recognize what you're trying to do on the board. Does that make sense? Obviously, it works with the projector. So if your board is going to get bumped or wiggled or jumped, you may notice sometimes that you try to press something and the touch isn't lining up. So the very first thing I want to show you how to do is to orient your board. Because occasionally, if this gets jumped around, orienting your board to the projector so that your touch is right on spot is very important. And so I want you to, so I have a Windows computer. You have a Mac. So these little icons that are down here are icons for some of my programs. Yours are going to actually appear at the top of your computer. So when you install Smart Notebook and you open it and power on your board, you're gonna see this little blue icon right down here. Looks almost like a little record player. That is our Smart Settings, our Smart Settings icon. And in here, you can go to a bunch of different options. Obviously, you can go straight to Notebook, which we're already in. But when you hit Orient, when I hit that Orient button, it's going to ask you to press the center of each target. It's going to do it in 4 places, right by the cameras. And now your board is perfectly aligned and oriented. Okay? So if your touch ever gets out of whack, that's the first thing that you're going to do.
Can you say what that button is one more time?
It's this little blue. It's like a blue square with a white circle in the middle of it. And it's going to appear on your map up here.
Are you going to have maybe a little handout or something about that, or?
So when, you can always go to your help button,
Okay.
and there is help, but there's also a little Smart Notebook tutorial.
Oh, okay.
So that is going to always walk you through the most recent features of the software, not necessarily the board. I also highly recommend YouTube. There is a smart channel on YouTube, and there's anything from how to plug in your board to how to create math lessons using our math embedded software, which is called GeoGebra. And they range from 1 minute to 15 minutes on a variety of different topics. Some are created by people at Smart, some are created by classroom teachers who just want to go on YouTube and share how they did something using the Smartboard. All right, so I'm just going to quickly go over some of the tools up at the top. There's some very obvious features here. You've got your forward and your back button. So Smart Notebook is organized in slides, similar to PowerPoint. And so to progress through the slides, you can always hit those forward and back arrows. If you are vertically challenged, then you can just hit this little arrow button at the top, and that's going to put your control panel down at the bottom, so that you can also activate that panel at the bottom. Same with the panel at the left-hand side of the board. You can bring it to the other side as well. So if you want to work over here for a little while, and then you're changing modes, and then you want to work back on the other side for a little while, you can flip back and forth. You can always add or take away those slides. So if I'm on a particular slide, and I decide I want to add another one, I can always insert a blank slide at any time. I can always erase that slide at any time. Obviously, you can add to your folders or save any of the information. You can change the way that your screen is displayed as well. So if I hit this little screen arrow, it's going to ask me, do I want to take it dual screen? Do I want to do a transparent background? How do I want to zoom it? One of my favorites is a dual page display. So if I want to do an activity on one side and have the instructions on the other side, I have the ability to do that as well. Girls, can you whisper, please? They are obsessed with My Little Ponies. Did anyone have those when they were little?
Yeah.
God, it's ridiculous. All I hear about is Rarity, and I don't even know the names of the other ones. All right. So I'm going to go back to, full screen, single page display.
Now, could you also do this from your computer?
You can also do this from your computer, absolutely. So you can be at your computer driving it as well. For some of the features, especially some like the writing, etc., you'll find that that's really hard to do with your mouse. I've actually had to do webinars where I have to demonstrate how to use certain inking features with our pens using the mouse. So those kinds of things are much easier to write on the board, but you can do everything right from your computer.
So what, I don't know about this, what button do you push so that a student can come up and, maybe make a circle or touch?
Or just write on it?
Yeah.
Okay, let me get through the tools.
Oh, I'm sorry.
On the top, all right, and I'm gonna show you exactly which ones. So up here, you're gonna see you have a clipboard, so you can take a picture of something that students have written. So if a student comes up and is working on a problem and you wanna capture that, you can go ahead and use this little clipboard icon up here, and it will, I'll show you. Oh, it pasted something that I had copied earlier, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. There we go. So I can go ahead and capture up its pasting. Yeah, you have to copy it first. This is a shade, so if you wanna do some kind of like reveal, you know how sometimes you wanna hide the content from the students and then kind of reveal things? It puts a shade so that you can drag the shade up and down. You can do it from the sides, you can do it from the bottom. If you tap it, it'll change colors. You can even choose the color of the shade. You just touch and hold. Okay, and it'll change a couple of different colors. I'm gonna get rid of that shade. There's a compass, you can add tables. Something that is very important is something called the Smart Exchange. I'll go ahead and hit Smart Exchange right now. And if you guys are taking notes, I want you to write down the website. It's called exchange.smarttech.com. And it's a free website. You do need to create an account. And once you've created your account, you can log on.
Can you repeat the website?
Yep, exchange.smarttech.com. And what Exchange really does for you is it allows you to search for lessons that are already created. So some of these lessons have been created by teachers, some of them have been created by people at Smart, and that's what I would do first. I would go on the Smart Exchange and I would search for lessons on here that match the content that you're teaching. Get an idea about what some of those lessons are, and then that will give you a framework for some different things that you can create, okay? So anything from, attendance to math to English, science, social studies, tons of resources for all grade levels and all subject areas on Smart Exchange. You basically just, I recommend previewing them first before you download them. And then once you download them, you can open them in Smart Notebook. We're going to talk about Activity Builder in a little bit. Lesson Activity Builder is a new feature to Notebook 2015. There's a variety of different activities, and these activities are interactive activities that you can create in 5 minutes or less. Our product development team literally has a timer on their desk, and when they've created these activities, their instruction by our Chief Technology Officer was, our teachers don't have time. The research is showing that they're downloading activities from Smart Exchange at 8 o'clock in the morning. If a teacher can't create an activity in 5 minutes or less, I don't want to put into Notebook. So we're going to show you how to use this content as well. Additional math and response content as well. I'm going to go over those icons. But these are probably the key features that you're going to use to navigate the board. So obviously you've got your select tool. So and this is something that's important to remember. When you want to select something, that means you want to use your finger to move it around. You need to hit the select tool, and then you can put your finger on it. All right, and when you put your finger on it, it's going to select it. All right, and there will always be a drop-down menu. So you can do any of these things. You can clone it, you can cut it, you can copy, paste, or delete that particular object. Or you can move it around. Okay? When you want to write with a pen, you're going to click your pen icon, and then you can choose a variety of different pens and inks and sizes. So for example, there's just the regular pen. a calligraphy pen, crayons, etc. But you can either write with your finger, or you can pick up a particular pen. Let's say I want to use the paintbrush. I want to change the color of it. I can write that color, etc. Okay? So the pens are going to depend upon the color that you choose to work with them. If you want to erase, you need to hit the eraser, right? And you can even just, if it's a big space, you can just use the palm of the hand, once you've selected that eraser, to go ahead and erase.
Can you use your fist or something to make a mark?
To make a mark? Yeah, so if I select my,
Okay, good.
yeah.
Because usually
Yeah.
that equipment.
So you can use tennis balls,
Right.
anything that you need to touch the board. I know some people actually use like a pointer with it, a variety of different safe,
Right.
non-scratch kind of resources can be used if your students need that kind of adaptation. Okay. Just another quick eraser trick. So let me do this. Another thing I can do. So if I have a big area, I hit the eraser, I use my fist to draw a big circle around it, and hit the middle, and it's going to erase everything that's inside of that circle. And these are the kind of gestures that you're going to become accustomed to. So for example, if I want to select something, if I want to select both of these things, and I jiggle them, it's gonna group them together. So there's lots of those little kinds of tricks and gestures, etc. We're just gonna go through the basic tools today. Obviously, we have, different fonts and font sizes that you can use, different shapes that you can work from. One of my favorites is if we're going to, let's say we're gonna do a square. You can drag a square. You can drag a square down. What's going on? There we go. If I wanted to, I can divide that shape. It's going to ask me how many sections I want to divide it into. Let's say I want to divide it into 4, and it's going to automatically block that off and divide that for me. So you can do that with all the different shapes that are within there. You've got your lines so that you can draw a variety of different kinds of lines, a paint can to change different fill colors, etc. Okay? Any questions about the tools? Pretty easy to.
I guess that undo, like, let's say you deleted the page that you didn't want to delete.
Then you can redo it.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. So like I'm gonna redo, undo,
Mhm.
undo, redo. So pretty easy to navigate. All right, so let's start to get into some of the fun stuff. So one thing I do want to let you know is that there is a feature called Notebook Maestro. And what Notebook Maestro allows you as a teacher to do is to take your iPad, if you have an iPad, and to untether from the board. So let's say you'd like to walk around the classroom, or you would like to do everything that you would like to do at the board, but you want to do it on the other side of the classroom with your iPad, right? Your computer has to be plugged in, so you can't do it with your computer.
I don't know if you covered this already, but is the computer plugged into an HDMI cord or?
Yep,
USB
it's plugged
cord?
into an HDMI, and it's plugged in, there's 2 cords, HDMI as well as the touch, as well as the touch cord. Okay, so there's 2 cords that are actually attached to your computer. So if you want to walk around the classroom and you have an iPad, there is a Notebook iPad app available through iTunes. And right now, it's only available on iPad. We don't have it for any Android devices. But the Maestro or the Notebook app allows you to untether from the board and to be able to walk around the classroom and drive what happens from the board. The way it works is through an internet connection. So let me see if I can grab my iPad right now. And you have to be connected to the same internet connection. So your iPad has to be on the same internet connection as your computer. I open my little puzzle piece here. These are our add-ons, and you'll see that there's a Notebook Maestro icon. I click that Notebook Maestro icon, and now I'm going to go to my Notebook app. And there's a QR code. So I'm going to hit this Connect to Smart Notebook. It's going to scan the QR code. Notice how it read my device. I can hit Connect. And now I can have I'm very sensitive. I can have my students do a variety of different activities. I don't know why this keeps showing up. I think I have a bug. So now everything that's on my iPad is up on the screen. So if I wanted you to sort the story.
Ms. Griffin,
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize.
I know, it's okay, it's okay.
I didn't know.
She didn't.
Yeah, I didn't realize. It's okay. We'll give you another chance in a second. There you go.
It's on that.
So you have to download an app on this?
Yep.
Okay.
So you download the app, and now, like if you want to move or write on that screen, you can sort the stories.
So,
So what's the name of the app you
Up.
download?
Here we are.
Smart Notebook, my.
There, yep.
My
Oh,
notebook, mine.
you disconnected, sorry.
sorry about that.
Is the app free?
The app is not free,
So it would go along
but
with
there's
the license?
education pricing.
Oh, okay, so Dr. Presley would have to get a license for us to download it?
Yes,
Okay.
unless you wanted to get
this
it.
is your personal iPad, right?
Yep.
No, we all got iPads.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's sold through iTunes. It's not sold by Smart. There we go. Try this again.
Now, say we wanted to show a video from YouTube like this, could we do that?
Yep. So, if you save the video, well, hold on a second. Right now, you can only use your iPad. See, it's communicating with the notebook software. Right now, you can embed pictures from your device. Coming soon, you can stream video.
But can you stream video from the computer?
Not in notebook using your, yes, so you can stream video using your computer. So your computer attached to this, it will be a display as well. Okay, so anything that's on your computer is gonna be able to be seen up on the screen.
But you
Okay.
can't embed a YouTube video in a notebook.
Yeah, you can embed the URL, which will link to it.
You found in this line.
Okay. All right, so the three little pigs, story sequencing. So all you would need to do, like as a student, I could come up here
Yeah.
and I could order the story, right? From beginning to middle to end.
Yeah.
Let's say I was having groups work with some different cards that they were ordering to retell the story. I could pass this to a group, I'm gonna have you, and would you take one of the events of the story at the bottom and would you drag it to the beginning, middle, or end? And so in real time now, I can pass that to students, and students can contribute directly to the board. Or I, as a teacher, maybe I have some students up there working on it, and I, as a teacher from across the classroom, can point to something with my pen, or drag something back, no, that's not there.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
One of the things, all of the students here will have their own iPad.
Mm-hmm.
So, if we were to do something like this, how can we, and we're using it with the whole class, is there any way to lock them out so that?
So the Maestro feature is intended for the teacher to use.
Okay.
Only one iPad at a time can be connected to do this, okay? So this is for the teacher to untether herself or himself and be able to walk around the classroom, and I can write with a pen, I can erase something, just as if so that I don't have to be the sage on the stage up here all the time, right? I don't have to be locked to the board if I want to show something or do something or write something.
So there are no activities that we could do as a group?
Yes, there are.
But,
Yes, there are, okay? So I just wanted to demonstrate this for you. We're getting to the ones you can do as a group. All right, so does anybody remember where you find that little puzzle, that little icon for Notebook Maestro? In the puzzle piece, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect my iPad right now. Well, actually, you know what? I'll show you the next one too. So now, whoever's on the iPad, you can tell us what temperature it is outside, and we can do some life skills, right? Dressing the man with the appropriate attire for the temperature today. This is a nice calendar activity to be able to do with your students. And these are the kinds of things that you'll be able to find on Smart Exchange. Things like this that have already been created, attendance, calendar, those kinds of things. All right?
So when you connect it to the iPad, everything you do has to be through this app?
Yep.
You can't open another app on your iPad?
No, it's for Notebook only.
Okay.
Okay, it's for when you're using Notebook.
And it's called Smart Notebook.
Smart Notebook is the name of the app. Okay, Smart Notebook is also the name of the software. It's just the application version of it for your iPad. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect right now.
Disable Maestro.
Okay, and let's move on to another feature. All right, so here's one of the ways that you can begin to use assessment. So whether you said your kids are gonna have devices, iPads, MacBooks, iPads, okay. So really it's device agnostic, whatever device they have, they can use with Smart Response. And so have any of you used the clickers before, like Smart Response clickers to have students respond? All right. So some classrooms have them. It used to be like this little device that had a receiver, and you could create questions, and your students would use the clicker to do true, false, or choose from A, B, C, or D, and you get immediate results. It's the kind of the same thing now with Smart Response. It's embedded into Notebook. And so you don't need the clickers anymore. All you need is a mobile device or a computer, and the kids can respond. And so I'll show you how that works. So you can just do, like, let's say you're in the middle of a lesson and you just really want to gauge if students have gotten it or not. So you can do an instant question. You can say, this is what we're going to talk about today. And you hit the little, this is the response icon, the orange icon with a picture of a clicker on it. All right? And it's going to allow you to be able to do a question right away. So you can insert a question, do an instant yes, no, instant
True, false.
instant A, B, C, D, instant text, instant number. So you can even say, you know, name the 3 layers of the rainforest, and that would be an instant text question because you're going to want them to actually write those names. So when I do that, it's going to say, do you want to insert the question on this page or a new page? I'm going to go ahead and say new page. It's going to set up the activity for me, okay? Single question. My kids are going to go to this website and enter this ID, or they can also scan it using the QR code. And then that's going to take them into the assessment and they can submit their responses right there. Okay? I'm going to give you a chance to practice in a minute. Calculate the area of the largest shape. Okay, so I'm going to do here. I'm going to go ahead and start this question now. I'm gonna prepare it. And if you guys have a device, hold on one second. So this is where I kind of like to use that dual page display. Insert. Hold on. And. Come on, where'd it go? And if you are on your computers, you can go to this website and enter this ID. And if you have a phone or an iPad with you right now, I'm going to hit QR code, and you can scan this QR code. So hold on. For those who are on their computer, you're going to go to response.smarttech.com and enter that assessment ID. So response.smarttech.com. And if you're on your phone, you can scan this QR code.
It's asking for student ID.
Just, you don't need to. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? That's so cool.
Student ID is optional. And then,
You mean like take a picture of it?
like, do you have a QR code scanner?
I'm going.
There's free apps for
Oh, okay.
QR code scanners.
Well, you can go to the
You can go to the web address too.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I get it next time.
all right. So that's the web address.
I'm following.
Can you go back to the QR code?
Uh-huh. Did you get it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's for one system.
Oh. So that's, you need the QR code?
No, I'm gonna just take a picture of the.
So that's if you want to add this, that's if you want to add a question?
No, the question was already done,
Yeah.
all right?
I got it wrong.
And now,
I just,
it's in progress. It's gonna tell me 3 out of 13 students who have logged in have answered. It'll show me who isn't finished or who is. It should give you immediate feedback. And if I do my results preview, it's gonna show me how many people got it correct versus incorrect. I can see it in the bar graph as well.
Quick question.
How you gonna know
Within
who's
that
who?
Smartboard app, can you print out that for like data wall charts and everything?
Yes, you can. So here's so this is gonna be like, that's, I would say, Smart Notebook Training 102. You see how there's a little smart response icon down